Hey, and welcome to our Tuesday live leadership chats. Today I'm talking around the power of being present and how we can actually be more present in our coaching conversations. We've probably all been in situations where we're sharing a story, a thought, or a perspective, and we're so passionate about it, and we really want the other person or the other people to be able to hear us, but they're just not present. They're not listening. Their eyes are looking at us and it looks like they're present, but we know they're just not really with us. You know, we can tell that they're thinking about something else, or maybe they're crafting a question in their mind to be able to ask you, or maybe they're figuring out what advice or input they can actually give you, or maybe they're just thinking about lunch. But regardless of what it is, we can actually tell that they're really not listening and not being present with us. Being present, being fully present with someone is really hard work. We can be distracted by noise, both the physical noise of what's happening around us, but also internal noise, what's happening in our heads. And the other reason it's hard is because our attention span. We can actually only focus our full attention on something for a finite amount of time. We get exhausted. It's really hard work. We have our limits on how long we can listen and how long we can be present for. And it's hard work because of things like technology, our own experiences of the day, or our tiredness, or our health, our well-being. My name's Kylie Butler, and I'm a part of Christian Coaching Institute, which is Australia's leading Christian coaching organisation. And we've been coaching and training leaders in coaching for over 10 years now. So we're talking around coaching presence today. And the International Coaching Federation defines coaching presence as the ability to be fully conscious and to create spontaneous relationship with a coachee that is employing a style that is open and flexible and confident. Being present is about being in the moment with laser focus for the coachee. Being fully present means listening to understand and asking open-ended questions to be able to help the coachee to explore themselves more deeply. It means being able to have an awareness of ourselves, being aware to the conversation that's right in front of you, being okay for the coachee and having trust in the coachee as well as the potential for change. One key thing to remember around coaching and coaching presence is it's actually not about you. I like to say to my coachees that it's not about me as the coach, it's all about them as the coachee. As a coach, be okay with not knowing and not identifying a solution. Our focus is actually on creating different perspectives and exploring possibilities. Let the coachee lead and you as the coach be the supportive partner. In coaching presence, it's okay for silence. Often we feel the need that we need to fill the gap during conversation, but truly being present can involve periods of silence and sometimes awkward long periods of silence. But a good coach will do this intentionally because this allows the coachee more space to share what's actually on their mind. The third area for coaching presence is around listening to understand. Unfortunately, sometimes people listen only enough to really respond. They listen in order to speak rather than on really hearing what the other person is saying. Our energy is spent on crafting and creating answers or responses rather than effective listening is really about just being present and listening. Listen with the expectation of hearing something new or surprising. Here are some ways that you can actually develop your coaching presence. The first one is around developing self-awareness through the practice of observation and feedback. Ask your coachees to give you specific feedback on your coaching presence. When you're listening, when you're not listening. When did they experience you being completely present with them? And when were you not present with them? If you want a real stretch, I really encourage you to actually record yourself coaching someone with their permission. Absolutely, of course. But then watch yourself back. It is completely awkward, I know, but it's really helpful. Watch yourself for your facial expressions. What sort of resting face do you have? What are your eyes doing? Where are they going? It's absolutely fascinating to watch yourself back and see when you're present and when you're not present. The second area of developing coaching presence is to develop and discipline your mind. Actually choose to put things aside during the conversation. We can't stop the thoughts that come in. They're going to come. And some days they're going to come faster and harder than others. But what do we actually do about them? There are so many different techniques that you can use to kind of put aside those thoughts. One that I use is I imagine a filing cabinet in my mind. And when the thought comes in, I take note of it, I acknowledge it, but then I put it in the filing cabinet, and then I close the filing cabinet and get back to the conversation. If you've got ones that work for you, why not put them in the chat or reply to us? We'd love to be able to hear that, but others would love to be able to hear ways that you can kind of let those thoughts, internal thoughts, slide by. And the third area of growing your coaching presence is actually around grounding yourself and getting rid of distractions. Turn up to your coaching conversations early, both physically, but also in your mind. Don't come running into the coaching conversation, either physically running or sometimes our mind is running. Take the time to pause, remove distractions, close off emails, turn your phone on don't disturb. Honestly, silent mode is not quite enough. We all hear that buzz when the message comes through. So I encourage you, be really present with your coachee. Close off your social media. Read over the notes that you might have taken beforehand. Pray, breathe, relax before you actually enter a coaching conversation. If you're interested in being more present with your team, asking better questions and building better conversations, we have released our 4th Coach Mastery Certificate cohort for 2020. It is starting at the beginning of September. It's going to run over 12 weeks via Zoom, and you're going to be live with other leaders who want to actually increase their coaching skills, and they'll be all over the country. We've been running our Coach Mastery course online for over 10 years. We've been running the coach training for over 10 years. So we've created a way now that it's really accessible for people to still have that high relational factor as an in-person course, but the availability of being online wherever you might be. I'll put the link to the course in the comments below. So today we've been talking around what it means to really be present, be in the moment and laser focus with your coachee. Being fully present means listening to understand and asking open-ended questions to help your coachee explore themselves more deeply. This means actually we need to have an awareness of ourselves, what's going on for us, staying present and in the conversation, and being okay where the conversation might go and not having the outcome determined. Ways that we can help ourselves do that is develop a self-awareness through observation and feedback, getting some insight around what we're doing, developing and disciplining our mind, and grounding ourselves and getting rid of distractions. Hope that's been helpful for you today. Look forward to seeing you next week at 1 o'clock.